Hey everyone, Fast Eddie here. First I'd like to say thanks to all my subscribers, everybody who supports me on Patreon and bought the cool shirts of Shut Up and Practice. So this video is going to be awesome. I'm really excited to even do this video, and I just made it. Just right now, like 5 minutes ago, I just made this. And I'm just thinking about how this is all going to come together, and I'm really excited about this. So this is going to be overall cornering, everything to think about for a corner from A to Z, from 1 to infinity, from whatever you want to say. So first thing, if you want to go set this up, let's get some basic stuff down so you can do this yourself. Let's practice, right? So an average width of a lane is like 8 feet. So I just made it 10 feet just to have a little bit more wiggle room, depending on some streets are narrower, some a little bit wider. So from the red pink outline on the outside of this big half corner that you see right here, this is like the barrier. That's a guardrail, it's a parked car, it's a curb. Don't hit that. It's a 10-foot wide lane, okay? And all these parking spots right here, they're 8 foot wide. So all these cars that park here can fit within an 8 foot wide lane with a little bit of room on either side. So this is 10-foot wide lane that I made. And you can see the green right here from this side, the diameter, or the radius of it, the diameter of the whole thing, the diameter is 34 feet about. I just walked it out with my feet. I have a size 11 boot, so maybe it's 35 feet, but somewhere around there from green line directly across to green line. And then of course the exit is another 10 feet. So all the way around, it's 10 feet wide everywhere. So it's a 10-foot wide lane, you're going through the corner. So if you want to set this up, there's the basics of it. All right, so check this out. So I just went through and wrote it a couple times and everything. So this is gonna bring every one of my cornering videos, for the most part, together, except for like blind corners. Of course, this isn't a blind corner. But either way, this is the strategy. So well before, a long time ago, I made a video called Cornering Strategy, the 3 things you need to do before a corner, which is body, head, bike. But before that even starts, you have to get your speed adjusted. So as you're coming down into a straight line to take this corner, get whatever speed you need to be comfortable in. You're downshifting, you're upshifting, whatever you're doing, set your speed before you get to the corner. That's always number 1. Don't go in too fast. Then you do body, you do your body position. Before you turn your bike, you turn your head. And the last thing you do, the last thing you possibly do for any corner is you finally turn the bike. That's last, because you have to look to make sure it's all good and clear before you actually commit, right? So a couple things. We're gonna go over, I have a bunch of cones to give you a better visual. So what I see more often than not is what I made in a bunch of other videos, but this is gonna give you the actual visual on an actual corner, and then you're gonna see me actually demonstrate this. A lot of people, they take off, they're coming for a left-hand corner, they got their speed or whatever it is, and this is not assuming they're going way too fast. This is assuming their speed is okay. So as they start to approach the turn, they're right here. Usually the front tire is right around this mark, like kind of like in the middle of the lane. Because they're going left, and there's the left-hand corner. It's right here, so they're like right here on the bike. They're starting to make this left-hand corner, right? And as they go through, they start turning a little bit, right? So maybe they're here already. And they go a little bit more, and then now their front tire is here. They're going through the corner, and they're like, this corner just keeps on going. And now they're right here, and right about here, they're like, oh crap, I have to go way over there. This is a guardrail, and this is where people panic. They're on their bike, they started to turn the bike, they're leaning, they're getting closer and closer to the guardrail, and they're probably looking at the guardrail like I'm doing right now. Instead of pointing your chin and looking where you want to go, if you want to go left and make this, if you're right here and you want to make this corner, one thing to do only one. Push harder left, the bike will lean more left, and you'll probably make it. No throttle, no brakes, nothing. You're already at this point, nothing much you can do, just look over there and push harder with the left handlebar. You'll probably make it. But then people keep going and they're like, oh crap, they get closer and closer. Guardrail. So this is what I see happen a lot. This is what people do. I have witnessed people do this directly in front of me. I'm riding behind someone takes this path of travel, and right there, luckily it wasn't a guardrail or a cliff, it's just a little bit of a dip in the ground, and there's a mountain like 10 feet back, but it's just dirt, and they kind of just like, oh crap. They went down and they kind of flipped a little bit. They got back up, I'm like, oh man. Then I helped him pick up the bike, and it wasn't that big of a deal. It was scratched up and everything, but he was okay. We were only going like 20 or whatever. But either way, so that's what a lot of people do. So let's head back over there, and I'm gonna show you a different mentality, a different method to go through a corner like this. So as I practice a couple times with your speed, so one thing to keep in mind, right? So you have the corner, whatever your entrance speed is, you either want it to be the same or more at the exit. If I come into this corner at 25 miles per hour and I'm going, and I'm just decelerating, I'm braking, I'm freaking out like, oh my God. And then by the time I get to the exit, I'm going 10. That should be a big red flag. Like, I came in way too hot and I'm really glad I made this corner. So when I was just practicing right now, you could be in whatever gear you want, first gear, second gear, but I went into this corner on my bike just 5 seconds before I started recording. I'm only going into this corner at about 15, 16, 17 miles per hour. And that speed allows me, with the tightness of this corner, only a 34-foot diameter corner, if I go in at 16, 17 miles per hour, it allows me to start accelerating. So by the time I get to the exit, I'm at 20, 21, 22, accelerating through. So that's what I'm able to do. So if you set up this exact same arrangement, wherever you're at, if you could go in at 20 and come out at 25, well, great. Right? So that's just what I was doing. And of course, everything I'm doing on this side, you can just reverse it. You can practice left and right turns. Don't just practice one way. So there's what a lot of people that I see. They start to turn in, they're like, holy crap, and then pretty soon, middle of the corner right there, as you can see the tennis balls. These are just tennis balls cut in half, by the way. You just see it, bam, guardrail. Here's a different approach. And when I was out riding around, I asked the cameraman to put these little cones down of where my front tire was at different points of the turn. So when I first went through, I was showing the bad way to do a corner. My front tire was right there. See the little chalk mark? My front tire was there. On the third dot, that's where my front tire was, and then I went wide. That's what happened if you go in like that. The second time I went around, I practiced the different mentality, is what I'm explaining now. My front tire was right here. So automatically, I was more than 3 feet over. Remember, you're going left, so you want to start on the right as far as possible. Now here's the kicker, check this out. As I was going, so I told her, wherever my front tire is when I cross this line, tell me where the front tire is. The first time my front tire was here, look at the chalk mark. My front tire was right there. The second time, so I'm starting off, I'm still on the outside right here. I'm still on the outside, and look at, here's the actual point. So at this line, the first time my front tire was way over there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 feet closer. And that's what happens, guardrail. The second time, if you come, kind of turn this way a little bit, you can see the 3 dots. I stayed on the outside a whole lot longer. You see that? My front tire was right here before I really began to get the bike to lean and turn it over. And of course, this is all you're already done. You got your speed, body, head, you're looking through, everything is good, and then bike. So I stayed on the outside, wait, then right here, I actually started to make the turn. Again, you want to go left, you push left. So I started to lean right there, and the bike started to come in, going through the corner, dipping it in, I'm looking way up ahead. Start on the outside, you dip it in, and as you start to accelerate out of the corner, you start to drift a little bit more to the outside. And by the time I was done with the outside, I'm about exactly where I want to be, in the middle of the lane. So just in case something happens from this way, I have a little bit of wiggle room. A squirrel jumps out of this way and stops or does whatever, or there's a tree branch right there or whatever it is, I have a little bit of room to go this way, but you want to pretty much be in the middle-ish for public road riding as you exit, right? And that's the idea. So the reason why I put this extra line of pink or red or hazard, whatever it is right here, because if you don't have something like this, you don't really have a gauge of what you're doing. You can take this corner at whatever miles per hour you want, but if you're 70 feet away from it's not realistic. Let's be real here, right? Lanes out on the traffic, they're only 8 to 10 feet wide. So I made a 10-foot wide lane. I gave myself a 2-foot buffer. And some lanes are not this wide, so you gotta keep that in mind. But if you're going through the corner at whatever speed you want, if you go over this line and your tires hit the chalk, you just crashed. You cannot do this. This is like a no kidding, you can't do it. You cannot hit this line. So whatever speed, say you go through this 20 times, and 18 out of the 20 times you're hitting the red line at various parts. Well, you're jacking up the beginning of the corner tremendously, or your speed is messed up, or all of it's messed up. So this is the most realistic way you could possibly set up a corner and really think about what you're doing and practice this stuff to make it, no kidding, cemented in your brain of what you need to set up in the beginning of the corner to make sure your exit is good. You mess up the beginning, you're gonna be flying off the cliff or hitting the guardrail. Luckily for here, which is why this is so beneficial to practice in a parking lot, you just run over chalk. But I tell you what, if you go practice and I lift up one of those parking things right there, and I put a parking thing, a little curb, around where all this pink line is at, and I say go through it again at 25 miles per hour, I bet you would have a different reaction because you're not confident yet in your skills. Right now you're just hitting chalk, no big deal. So again, you need to set up the beginning in order to make the end where you want to be, and you can't go wide. And everything I just said, you can flip-flop it. So I'm not gonna do everything, but just to keep in mind, now when I practice going that way, I'm going right. So I'm gonna start on the left, just like reverse, like literally mirror this stuff. So I'll start on the left, my front tire will be here, and I'm just gonna wait. Like I'm looking at the opposite. I'm gonna wait, lean a little bit, I'm looking through the corner, I'm already right here. Right about here is where the cone is, where I was on the other side before I really started to dip it in. I pushed right to go right, start to dip it in, and here's a perfect idea. See this big line right here? This is no kidding. Like if you back up about 10 feet. So my peripherals, I can see everything. You might not be able to see it on the phone, but this is the middle of the corner. If you're going left or you're going right, whatever else it is, a big goal for you to have is to get back on the gas and start to accelerate before you get to this line, before the middle of the corner. So if you're going right, you're going that way, somewhere here you need to get back on the gas. If you're not getting back on the gas to the back half of the corner, you went in too fast. Good indicator, I need to slow down. Or another big indicator is if you hit the red line, so you just went wide, probably because you turned in too early, or your line selection's jacked up, or you're not looking where you're supposed to be going. Everything applies to this. I'm gonna take these little cones away, I'm gonna jump on the bike, and I'm gonna do the demonstration of both of what I just did. First I'll do it the incorrect way, right? I'll follow this line of the purple and the green. I'll go in too soon, I'll start to turn too early, and bam. I'll keep the same speed for all of these corners. I'll go in at about 15 miles per hour, and I'll start to accelerate as I go through the corner before, like between the first third of the corner, I want to start to get back on the gas. If I could do that, but a lot of things depend on if I could do that or not. Do I feel comfortable at the speed? Where did I begin my front tire? Everything else. Like I mentioned, so as you see me, so I'm gonna have the camera lady, she's gonna stand like right about here. So she's gonna see me coming down and you're gonna see the process, right? Body, head, bike. I'm going 15, 20 miles per hour, so I'm gonna lean my body into the inside a little bit. And you'll see how early I set this up. My body's gonna get set up, my speed's good, number one. Get my body set up, and before I ever decide to turn the bike, I need to turn my head so you could watch to see where my head is turning and when it's turning, more importantly, when it's turning. And then when I actually turn my head, I don't turn the bike, right? You gotta wait. You gotta wait until you can actually see around the corner. You need to wait a long time. Again, remember, my front tire was right here while making this left-hand turn. A lot of people are way over there. Bad news. So I'll have her stand right about here, body, head, bike, go through the corner, and I'll do both ways. First, I'll do the first path of travel, which will probably make me go wide, almost guaranteed. And I'll do the second path of travel, and you can see, you can hear the throttle when I'm rolling on the throttle, going through, where my exit's at, everything else. Check it out. So hopefully you can kind of see that perspective. I went through the first time, like my line selection, my path of travel was really bad, and what did I do? I went wide. So in order for me not to go wide right there, I had to roll off the throttle, now the suspension drops, and I'm looking at the dang guardrail, and holy crap, my head's not turned. People do that all the time. It's such a big problem. But if I stayed the second path of travel, I'm way on the outside, I wait longer, my head is way over there, one smooth push forward, the bike turns, I could get back on the gas, I'm accelerating through, my exit's faster than the beginning, everything worked out fine. So if you could set this up, if you could find a lot somewhere and set this up, I gave you the dimensions, man, this is something to practice. And just like my t-shirt says, and my girlfriend's t-shirt, shut up and practice. So I'm gonna have her jump on the bike, go through a couple times, I'll put the cones down where her front tire is and give her feedback. Like, look at this, where were you looking? Why were you looking down? Were you looking over there? Look at your line selection. Did you hit the red line? Did you not hit the red line? Where did you hit it? Why did it happen? You can really start to self-diagnose and practicing something like this. And then of course, when you're out in the real world and you're going way faster with a bigger sweeper corner, it's a lot easier. This is a really tight technical corner and you have a very restricted boundaries, right? But if you're going on a big, sweeping, easy turn, you practice stuff like this that's pretty difficult, so it makes it easier out there. That's why I do low speed, insanely tight practicing maneuvers, because if I just have to make a U-turn at a gas station, oh my God, just make a U-turn, just go. There's nothing like that, right? So I hope the video made sense. It's probably the best visual I could give you with everything that I've been talking about with cornering, but hopefully it gives you a better understanding of all the things you need to consider when going through a corner. And not to mention, I didn't mention the traction, your tires, if the road is like this, if the road is like that, is there gravel, tar, all that stuff you have to keep. This is the best case scenario. Big, empty, clean, clear, good grip, no squirrels, no potholes, no nothing. But once you leave the parking lot, all that stuff comes into play, so you have to consider everything within seconds, half seconds, to analyze what you're gonna do about all this stuff. Now you go through a corner, something jumps out in front of you like a squirrel in the middle of the corner, now what? I made a video about that. Back there on the other end of the parking lot, what to do with the obstacle in your path. A lot of things to consider, but you need to practice in a safe, clear, open place like this and get it down really good before you can start to apply stuff going faster out in the real world. So thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget to hit subscribe, hit the little bell. If you want to support me on Patreon so I can buy more chalk, feel free to do so. You want to buy shirts and everything else. If not, no big deal. I'll keep on uploading videos for you. So get out there and practice. See you next time.